Alright folks, here we are at the official US press introduction for Yamaha Motors 2024 Tracer 9 GT Plus. This is an updated sport touring bike from the Tuning Fork brand for the 2024 model year. So this bike, or this version, was originally introduced for the 2021 model year. It replaced the outgoing Yamaha Tracer 900. So they changed the name to Tracer 9 GT and the GT Plus. This vehicle has semi-active KYB suspension. Semi-active suspension, what that does is it automatically adjusts compression and rebound damping circuits in real time based on rider control input, i.e. the brakes and the throttle, and the position of the vehicle, which is determined by an IMU. That is the same type of chip that is used in modern smartphones, and it gives the vehicle positional awareness in all axis. So yaw, roll, and pitch in relation to the pavement, of course. Now for 2024, Yamaha has done a number of nice improvements to its sport touring bike. Now it's worth noting that Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus customers, they really want a balanced vehicle in terms of engine performance, comfort, handling, and all the bells and whistles and doodads. And the easiest doodad to spot right now is this new 7-inch color TFT display. This display, look at it. Look how much of an improvement this display is versus the outgoing Tracer 9 GT Plus with its curious double MT10 readouts. I wasn't a big fan of that previous display with the two MT10 displays. It was pretty obvious why Yamaha ran that, just because it was more affordable to use that setup instead of having to engineer or source an all-new display. So we understand why they used it, but this new 7-inch color TFT display is awesome. It's nice and sharp, easy to read. We can view all of our riding metrics right here with this button here. This joystick style button is also new, as is the switch gear on the right hand side of the handlebar. So new switch gear, I really like it. I was for years and years and years, we've been griping about Yamaha switch gear and how it's subpar, especially in terms of tactile feel. So thank you, Yamaha, for listening to our comments and upgrading this vehicle with new switch gear. It's a big deal for us. So here we can go hit left, go to vehicle info, and now we can see all of the metrics lit up right here. So during the course of our ride, we've averaged 43 miles per gallon, which is really good for this 890cc CP3 engine. This engine's thirsty. All of Yamaha's cross-plane crankshaft equipped engines are generally pretty thirsty, and when we're riding this thing in SoCal at home, we're usually recording fuel mileage in the mid-30s. So 43 is really nice to see, but to be fair, we haven't been riding very fast. Anyways, like seeing all that stuff. Ambient air temperature, love that that's there, 86 degrees, a little bit toasty. Very, very nice. We have more trip information on the right hand side. Nice layout, a little bit cluttered, if I had to say anything, a little bit cluttered, but I still like it. It's a big improvement from its predecessor. There's also different themes, so you can actually modify the theme of the display here. So to do that, we are going to hit the home button, which is below the joystick, and we'll go into theme. Now we can choose different themes. See, it's like little different graphics, kind of neat. I like this one, so we're gonna go with that. Now, another important feature, in addition to the new switchgear and the 7-inch color TFT, is the adaptive cruise control. Yes, I love adaptive cruise control. Adaptive cruise control, at least I sometimes like it. We'll talk more about that later. But adaptive cruise control basically builds upon electronic cruise control by introducing a radar hardware in the front of the motorcycle. The radar hardware in the front of the motorcycle pings the vehicle in front or obstacle in front and is able to assess the speed of that vehicle that's in front of you, and when it's engaged, it automatically decreases or increases this vehicle's speed based on what's in front of you. And you can adjust how sensitive it is in terms of range with this switchgear mounted button right here on the left. So if we want to be very close to the traffic in front of us, we can have only one bar showing, and now we'll have the shortest range distance. Conversely, if we want to have a lot of room between us and the vehicle ahead, we will use the 4 bars. Let's split the difference and go to 2. And our cruise control is enabled at 70 miles per hour, so the vehicle will be pacing, our vehicle will pace the vehicles in front of us until 70 miles per hour. Kind of neat. Kind of neat. It definitely takes the worry about having to keep your speed constant so you're not too far ahead or behind the traffic in front of you. Kind of neat. But you don't want to rely on the electronics too much, because you still got to ride the motorcycle and pay attention. So it's definitely a neat feature, but you still have to really pay attention, because stuff can happen on your bike and you always have to be in control and aware of your surroundings. So those are the 2 big changes to this bike. We also have, if you can even believe it, it sounds crazy, but now they have radar powered linked braking. So let's say you're operating this bike and you're manipulating the front or rear brake, and the radar sees that the object in front of you is closing at a faster speed than the electronic window allows that to happen. The vehicle will actually apply extra brake pressure to help you slow down your Tracer 9 GT Plus. Pretty neat. Along with that, we have a larger diameter rear brake disc. So 267 millimeter brake disc is now fitted out back. It used to be a 245. So kind of neat. Neat to see Yamaha improving things. Now underneath this 7-inch color TFT, we have a USB charging port right there, so you can charge your gadgets on the move. I really like it. Now, this Tracer 9 GT Plus is powered by Yamaha's tried and true 890cc CP3 engine, dual overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, so we got a 12 valve cylinder head. This engine was overhauled for the 2021 model year. It received extra stroke and a bunch of other modifications that really upped the game in terms of power and charisma. We've reviewed this engine extensively in our previous 2021 MT-09 reviews and XSR 900 reviews and Tracer 9 GT reviews, so make sure to check all that content that lives on motorcyclistonline.com. We've literally written a couple articles, thousands and thousands of words, hours of video commentary about that engine configuration, so check that out on the Motorcyclist Mag YouTube channel. You'll probably find insights about that powertrain that you probably won't find at other YouTube channels or magazines or anything else. So check out that content if you're interested in purchasing a Yamaha motor vehicle equipped with a 2021 spec and newer CP3 engine. A lot of good facts. But this engine's so neat because really when it came out for 2021, Yamaha closed the gap to Triumph. So this engine literally sounds just like a Triumph, except it's more smooth and has way less engine vibration. Triumph engines, of course, are awesome, but they vibrate like crazy. So this has all the pluses of a Triumph engine with less vibration, and I really like it. This engine's good for right around 105 ponies at the business end of the Bridgestone Batlax 180 series tire. So around 105 ponies at the business end of the tire, upwards of 50 pound-feet of torque from, I believe, 2,500 RPM. This is a torquey little engine, and it's got a character and a sound to match. I love how awesome this engine sounds. Now this engine's mated to a 6-speed transmission operated through a cable actuated clutch. So cable actuated wet clutch with slipper function. So if you downshift in too low of a gear for your vehicle speed traveled, that isn't so much of a big deal. Now, like before, this vehicle continues to employ an electronic quick shifter, but Yamaha has made some improvements to the quick shifter. It's a lot more fast in its response, and now it upshifts and downshifts while you're on the throttle. So before, it had a lockout, so if you were on the throttle, you couldn't downshift or upshift, but now you can. Let's give old Alan a little pass here. There, we passed him. Now we're speeding a little bit, guys. I apologize. We're speeding, but this vehicle and this engine's just so dang fun to ride that it's really easy to up the speed. So the quick shifter was improved for the 2024 model year. It now allows you to upshift while you're on the throttle, and you can downshift on the throttle too, which is awesome. Just a lot faster response. That was another gripe we had with the previous version. While we liked it had an electronic quick shifter, it was really sluggish in action. This thing is way more responsive. Good job, Yamaha motor. Now we still have this height adjustable windscreen. It's really easy to use with this lever. Some people might gripe that it's not electronically adjustable, but honestly, having a manual lever that's really easy to use like this one, I'd rather have it than an electronically adjustable windshield, because it's just another doodad to, you know, potentially break. So having this manual lever is awesome. I like how big this windscreen is. Right now we have it in its highest position, and it does a good job of protecting us from the elements. Of course, if we wanted a little bit more wind in our helmet or against our torso, we can lower it, but I like it high, so that's the way we're going to run it. Listen to that engine. This thing's a hoot. It literally sounds just like a Triumph inline 3 engine. Love it. Now, we talked about how smooth this engine is. Now, the Tuning Fork brand really knows how to tune, hence their name, Tuning Fork brand, how to tune precisely the harmonics and vibration, the noise, the noise and harshness of the engine very easily. Now, Yamaha Motor really knows how to tune the dynamic of its engines. This engine has a little bit of engine vibration, but it's the good kind. Makes you feel like you're riding a motorcycle. You feel just a hint of vibration through the controls, but it's definitely, you can tell that Yamaha put some time and effort to make sure it's the right type of vibration. And this engine is way less vibey than other inline 3s, which is really nice. Because you're riding a touring bike, you want a motorcycle that you're going to be able to put some miles on, and it's going to deliver you to where you want to be comfortably without a bunch of buzzing and annoying things. So that's why we like this engine configuration so much. Chassis on this vehicle continues to employ a twin spar aluminum frame with KYB semi-active suspension. So the suspension automatically adjusts the rebound and compression damping circuits in real time based on rider control input and the position of the vehicle on the road. We have just over 5 inches of suspension travel fore and aft. Alright folks, we're going to take a little break here. We have to do some more photography and videography. There is the photography and videography team calibrating the white balance with that card. So we're going to take a little break here and collect some content for all of you folks to see and watch here at home. Alright folks, we'll check in with you in a little bit. Alright folks, we're going to give you some exclusive BTS. So right now we are doing photography and videography camera tracking footage. This is called tracking action footage. And we're going to record video, 4K video, because all we publish is 4K video because our US audience demands the very tasty, most premium content. So 4K video and probably 30 megapixel photos, probably even more. So that's what we're about to do right now. I really like this dash display. Look how much better that thing looks. So much cleaner looking and a lot more functional than the previous double rectangular color displays that was used previously. And this tactile function of this switch gear is awesome. We'll keep her in custom mode and away we go. This bike's so neat because it's just, I like how compact it is. Sometimes adventure sport bikes are a little big, and I really like this bike just because it's not too it's not too big, it's not too small, it's not too long, it's not too narrow. It's just really good. So as you can see, we have the road closed right now. That's why we're allowed to be doing what we're doing. So the road's closed. There is a sheriff on either side of the road who's allowing traffic to be blocked. You can pay the local police departments for that service. So pretty neat that they do that. I think it's pretty neat. Let's lower the windshield. We are right in the pocket. This is the ideal location to be for capturing photography and video. It feels odd having a car driving in the opposite lane of traffic. It just doesn't feel very natural. Even though the road is officially closed and theoretically nothing bad can happen, there's still something in the back of my head that says, why are we doing this? So that's really the secret sauce with Yamaha's Tracer 9 GT, is just the proportions are really nice on this bike. Not too big, not too small. And that was a successful pass. There is the sheriff blocking traffic for everyone. And here we go on our next pass, back down the road. Trying to get some dynamic movement in the video. It's kind of crazy because when you're doing this, you have to operate the vehicle a little bit differently. For video, you want more dynamic movements, but for photography, you can't move too much because the photo will be blurry and out of tack sharpness. So that's kind of the deal with that. Let's get some more dynamic movement shots. How's that look, boys and girls? Are we doing okay? I love doing that. It's fun getting on the brakes. We're going to talk about the brakes in a little bit when we get back on the road. But the brakes on this bike are very, very pleasing. Very nice. Mission accomplished. Alright, folks, here we go. We are done with our video commentary. Here is the mechanical key. Typical mechanical key from Yamaha Motor, nothing fancy. You know, I like mechanical keys and they don't need to be fancy, but for a $16,500 bike, the key should be a little bit nicer. Just saying. Cool starting sequence. Let's see that again. You flip it, the OS starts real quick. Yamaha right there. Very cool.
7:30 tonight.
Okay, so we are now going to ride back to our destination, which is in Boise, Idaho. Look at this cool old Yamaha bike. This is a Yamaha TDM. Look at that thing. TDM 850. That's a rare bike. Parallel twin powered it looks. Wow, cool. That guy's hanging out camping, doing the thing. Where were we? We were talking about the suspension, I believe. I love this bike. This is a really, really nice. This is like a good Swiss Army knife sport touring bike. It's not too big, it's not too small. You definitely wouldn't want to go on an interstate journey. I wouldn't want to ride this thing across state lines. It's not quite heavyweight enough for that. For that, you need a bigger windshield. You'd want an engine that's at least liter class. You want something that's a little bit bigger dimensionally, so it'll block the elements a little bit better. But for just kind of around town sport touring, like quick weekend getaways, using it to run around town and go to work on and run errands, even go to the grocery store, you can do that on this bike because of its OE supplied almost 18 gallons in total cargo capacity. And that's why I really like bikes with luggage, because it just opens up the utility factor. You can actually use these things as utility vehicles, especially in California where you can split lanes. It's just, you're going to save so much time by riding a motorcycle. All right, should we give her the beans, boys and girls? I would say yes. Let's give her the beans. Yes, beans, full beans. Woo! Yeah! Listen to that thing. Yeah! Oh boy, this is awesome. Sorry, we got going quick. Love the sound of this engine. Love that improved quick shifter. Very nice. Brakes on this bike, triple disc hydraulic brakes with a radial master cylinder. The brakes on this bike are nice and responsive. Yamaha fitted a larger diameter rear brake rotor. So it used to be 245 millimeters, now it's 267. So larger rear brake rotor, so you have more feel and more stopping power at the business end of that rear brake pedal. I'm a big rear brake guy. I love using the rear brake, so having a real strong rear brake is always a plus for me. It's worth noting that this bike has linked brakes, so every time you use the rear brake, it actuates the front brake, and vice versa. It's a very mild actuation. You can't really feel it while you're riding. I mean, a little bit you can, but just it's not very noticeable, and that just helps with folks who don't have a lot of experience using both brakes together. So it takes a little bit of worry out of that. Jeez Louise, these guys in front of us are taking off. We better speed up. Now, because we're at an official Yamaha Motor US press introduction, we can't just do what we want. These are lead follow type rides, and we're not going to be able to put this vehicle through our usual testing protocol. That means we're not going to be able to operate this vehicle after dark. But we have ridden this motorcycle after dark extensively in the 2021 and 2022 versions. And the LED headlamps on this bike, they work really well. This bike also includes cornering headlamp function, but the cornering headlamps, they're not as effective as they should be. Yes, they definitely help light up this side of the road, but they could do a better job of lighting up the side of the road. So it's nice that it has cornering head beams, but they should be a little bit more functional. Still, all LED lighting helps you stick out on the road, and the nose of the bike just has really nice, it just looks cool. It just has a really nice, high-tech, yet not overly futuristic profile. Maintenance on this motorcycle. Yamaha wants its owners to change the oil every 6,000 miles. So every 6,000 miles, Yamaha recommends you change the engine oil, and it wants you to replace the engine oil filter every other oil change. Spark plugs and the air filter should be replaced at 12,000 mile increments. So every time you change the oil filter, you should also change the spark plugs and the air filter according to the owner's manual. What's really neat about this 12 valve engine is that you don't have the valve adjustment interval is a whopping 24,000 miles. Isn't that crazy? 24,000 miles this bike can go before you have to check the valve specification. Isn't that neat? It's cool that Yamaha Motor really takes pride in making durable motorcycles that can go the test of time. I love that. You know, when I plop down my hard-earned dollars, I want something that's gonna last. And that's why I like Yamaha power sport vehicles, because they are going to last. Yes. Look at this beautiful river. Woo! This bike is a hoot to ride. I really like the upright ergonomics. If you're someone who doesn't want sport bike like contortions, body contortions, you're gonna appreciate the more upright and forgiving ergonomics on this bike. Well, folks, this basically wraps up our review from the official US press introduction. When we get back to base, we're gonna wrap things up. All right, folks, we'll show you real quick. That's the inside of the bag. Here's all my waters I drank, and that is the capacity, nearly 8 gallons on each side. We also have that slick cam seat thing where you open the key, you open the rear seat right here, pop that thing off right there. There's the rear seat. There's some storage for stuff. And then there's a little latch right here. You push this latch, and this exposes the little seat adjuster mechanism. So you move this up or down, and then you slot the seat in this. This is the low space. This is the high space. Really easy to do. So if you're a tall rider like me, you're gonna want the tall setup. If you're a shorter person, you're gonna want the seat in a lower range. Whatever you like, the choice is yours with this Tracer 9 GT, as I'm having a hard time putting this rear seat back in. Well, folks, we did it. That was a fun 160 some miles on Yamaha's 2024 Tracer 9 GT Plus. Big fan of that new instrumentation. It's super slick. Let's look at it again because it's so boss. I love it. One gripe though we do have with it is, although it does offer the ability to have turn-by-turn navigation, you have to download a Garmin app and a Yamaha app to access it. We were able to pair our phone with our iOS enabled smartphone with this bike very easily, and that's awesome. But turn-by-turn navigation requires the Garmin app and Yamaha's app, which is kind of goofy in our opinion. Of course, that adaptive cruise control is awesome. I love adaptive cruise control. It just takes the worry out of having to speed up and slow down when you're following traffic. That bigger back brake's always a nice touch. And the thing about this Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus is it's a really good mid-size sport touring bike. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's easy to park, it's not very heavy. It comes equipped with a center stand, which eases maintenance chores. And if you're looking for a high-tech, practical sport touring bike, not something heavy duty that's gonna take you across America, but practical for local touring rides and small distance stuff, this $16,500 bike would be a good option. All right, folks, that wraps up our review live from the official US press introduction for this vehicle. As always, make sure to surf on over to motorcyclistonline.com. That's where all of our written content comes to life. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs it down if you didn't, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for riding with us.